من وطن الكرامة.
Hello, it is 9 p.m. in Cairo, our time for top stories for today. First we start with the top news items from Libya. Spokesman for the General Commander of the Arab Libyan Armed Forces, Major Mohammed Hijazi, stressed that 4 fishing boats were monitored as they were introducing support to terrorist Daesh group and protected by the Turkish frigate. Hijazi denied that terrorist Daesh group achieved progress in the Sabri district, noting that the armed forces have gradually achieved progress in all districts of Benghazi to avoid human casualties. Moreover, Hijazi stressed that aircraft will continue launching airstrikes against terrorist groups in Sirte and its environs. 5 soldiers were killed and several others were injured by continued fighting between the armed forces and terrorist groups in Sabri district, Benghazi. A medical hospital source at Al-Gala Hospital received the bodies of martyrs Ziad Yusuf, Sulaiman Bou Khatwa, Imran Al-Mshiti, Sabir Eddin Ali and Wa'il Abdullah. Moreover, the sources added that the hospital received 9 wounded people. Their injuries ranged from simple to medium. Chief of the Libyan Armed Forces Operations Yusuf Sabir arrived in Cairo, holding a high-level military delegation from Tobruk on a visit to Egypt, during which he will discuss latest developments in Libya. Sources noted that the delegation will meet during the visit with senior Egyptian officials to discuss latest developments in Libya in the light of terrorist Daesh group practices in Sirte and the aid that can be provided by Egypt to the Arab Libyan Armed Forces in its war against terrorism. And still Libya's ambassador to France, Shebani Bouhmoud, called on the international community to intervene to stop the flow of foreign fighters from neighboring countries across the sea to Libyan territory. Bouhmoud stressed that the fighting between elements of terrorist Daesh group in Sirte and the people of the city resulted in the death of about 200 people by the influx of foreign fighters and the arrival of weapons across the sea. Moreover, he warned of the continuing attacks of terrorist Daesh group on residential neighborhoods on innocent citizens in Sirte. Jordan's ambassador to Egypt and permanent envoy to the Arab League, Bashir S. Khassauna, announced that an emergency meeting of the Arab League Council is due to be held at the level of permanent delegates on Tuesday. The meeting will discuss means of addressing the crimes committed by terrorist Daesh group in Libya. Jordan's ambassador added that the meeting will be held in the light of consultations between the Arab League secretaries, Jordan, Egypt, and a number of Arab countries about Libyan request to discuss means of responding to massacres committed by terrorist Daesh group in Sirte and other areas. The Italian Navy rescued over 300 migrants after 40 died attempting to cross the Mediterranean Sea from Libya to Europe. The victims were thought to have been trapped and suffocated in the water, lost hold of a boat after it took on water. The captain of the Navy ship leading the rescue said on Italian state television. Commander Massimo Tassi, speaking from the ship, said that when his men boarded the migrant boats, they found the dead in the hold, immersed in water full and human experiment. Moreover, Toss said his ship had taken on more than 300 survivors, including women and children. And to Yemen, forces loyal to Yemen's exiled government fought their way deep into the central city of Taiz today. Local officials said largely pushing out Houthi militiamen from the country's third largest city. The tribal fighters seized a mountain-top citadel and an intelligence headquarters in battles with the Houthis and allied Yemeni army units who control 2 military bases in the city. Tank battles and airstrikes have rocked Taiz since April, when the militia forces backed by Gulf Arab warplanes rose up against the Houthis. A civil war in Yemen erupted in late March when Houthis drove southwards, forcing the government to go to Saudi Arabia and triggering a Gulf military intervention. The UN envoy to Yemen, Ismail Wel Sheikh Ahmed, has been shuttling between the warring sides, including the Houthis representatives in neighboring Oman in an attempt to secure Houthi withdrawal from cities as per Yemen's ancient capital from a devastating final battle. And about the Iraqi crisis, an Iraqi parliamentary panel called today for dozens of security and political officials, including former Prime Minister Noor al-Maliki, to be referred to court in connection with the fall of the northern city of Mosul to terrorist Daesh group. The indictment of Maliki, who remains a powerful figure in Iraq's complex political landscape, and other senior officials, comes a week after Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi launched a sweeping campaign to combat corruption and mismanagement that he argued had made the country nearly impossible to govern. In the panel's report, the committee also placed responsibility for the June 2014 defeat with other political officials. There has been no official account of how Mosul was lost and who gave the order to abandon the fight. The fall of the city was a turning point in terrorist Daesh group's seizure of large swaths of the country's north and west in a sweep across the Syrian border last year. A Jordanian army official said today that the country's border with Syria was secure. Speaking from his office at the border post in Jabr in northern Jordan, Commander of the Border Guard Brigadier General Saber Mahira said that there is no presence of terrorist Daesh group or other extremist militant groups at the Jordanian border. The commander of the Border Guard blamed the chaos in Syria for a rise in incidents of smuggling. He said that a buffer zone would be held Jordan, but it would need a mandate from the United Nations. Talks of a military safe zone have been taking place sporadically since the start of the conflict. Turkey said it has agreed with the United States on terms of setting up a safe zone inside northern Syria as part of their campaign against extremist Daesh militants, but U.S. State Department denied there was any such agreement. The Jordanian border with Syria is 378 kilometers long. Indian and Pakistani troops intensified firing along their disputed frontier in Kashmir, killing at least 8 people and wounding 17 officials said today. Witnesses said the smoke was seen rising from mountains near the border. Villagers threatened by the firing packed their belongings and fired to safety. A leader of India's opposition Congress party, Manish Tiwari, said India should take a tougher stance with Pakistan over the cross-border firing. Deputy Chief Minister of India's northern state of Jammu and Kashmir, Nimral Singh, who visited injured victims in hospital, also called on tougher measures to stop the firings. Frontier clashes have intensified in recent months, and the latest violence will put more strain on ties between their nuclear armed rivals, who are scheduled to hold talks between the top security officials on August 23-24 in New Delhi. On to Indonesia, an aircraft with 54 people on board crashed in Indonesia's remote and mountainous region of Papua today. A government official said the latest in a string of aviation disasters in the Southeast Asian nation. The Air Transportation Director General said, according to the information, Trigana aircraft that lost contact was found at Camp 3 in the Bintang Mountains Regency. He added the information provided by the local residents said the flight crashed into Tangok Mountain. The detail on this finding is still under investigation. The National Search and Rescue Agency said a twin turboprop plane had lost contact with air traffic control as it flew over the forested area of eastern Indonesia, but efforts to trace it were difficult because of failing light. My audience, that is the wrap-up of our top stories for today. For much more, you can check our website www.watanalkarama.tv. Thanks for being with us. See you next time. My greeting, رانيا البليدى.